This week on Truth, Duty, Valour. HMCS Charlottetown, a Canadian warship partnered with a remarkably reliable Sea King helicopter, deployed to the unpredictable waters of the Middle East.
Can we see from the halo any cargo on deck?
The mission:
to help disrupt and eliminate terrorist organizations.
One boarding at a time.
Go.
Intercepting millions of dollars worth of illicit cargo. And countering terrorism with resounding success.
Ready, set, go!
Weighing in at 5,000 tons, steel, fuel, and ammunition combined, HMCS Charlottetown is diminutive alongside this giant, USS Harry S. Truman. Nonetheless, the frigate from Halifax had the honor of leading this impressive carrier group across the Atlantic when she was deployed in November 2007. It was a sign of trust and respect for the Canadian Navy's role in the US-led Operation Enduring Freedom. And ever since, the frigate and her helo have been making naval history combating terrorism in the Middle East.
Lieutenant Forbes, you gained my confidence. This is a big responsibility.
In charge of HMCS Charlottetown, Commander Patrick Saint-Denis,
$500 million warship, 250 live.
the youngest current serving commanding officer of a warship in the Canadian Navy.
Yes, sir, I am. You sure? Yes, sir. Good. You know, I'm going to present you your bridge watchkeeping certificate. Thank you, sir. Yeah. You ready to take the watch?
Yes, sir.
Deco? Let's turn over the watch to Lieutenant Forbes.
Hi, sir.
Put your hat on. One of my tasks as a captain is to prepare sailors, officers to become leaders.
Situation like?
Okay, you got 3 contacts ahead of you. One in the front and the port bow.
Training is a small part of the big picture. The commander's main objective is far more challenging.
My goal is to help disrupt and eliminate terrorist organization, and as well is to help check merchant traffic in the region so that merchant traffic can conduct their business, not be impeded.
HMCS Charlottetown is halfway through a 6-month tour in this malevolent region, a maritime domain that's divided into 3 patrol zones. Charlottetown is in the largest region, an area that encompasses the Strait of Hormuz, the Gulf of Oman, and the Arabian Sea.
Currently in theater, there's over 50 ships from the United States, Canada, the British are here, the French, Pakistan, Japanese are here. It shows that Canada is committed to international security.
There's a lot of legitimate activity that goes on in these waters, including tankers carrying oil from the Persian Gulf states. But there are also pirates and smugglers, some with links to terrorist organizations, who patrol these waters looking for vulnerable target vessels.
We don't have to worry about that stuff in Canadian waters. We don't have to worry about, you know, if we're going to get beaten and our money taken from us.
Bridge.
We have several surface contacts.
Knowing who and what is in the vicinity of the frigate is paramount to the safety of the operation, the ship, and her people.
What we do is we always make an assessment to figure out what nation the vessels are so we can build the recognized maritime picture.
The commander's present task is focused on an area off the coast of Pakistan.
Very good. Steer 270.
Charlottetown has been very successful, and one of the reasons Charlottetown has been very successful is because of our ship's company. We have a very professional ship's company and dedicated.
Not only is reliable manpower key to the frigate's success, this aging workhorse, the Sea King helicopter, plays a crucial role in the operation.
Having a Sea King embark increased our capability incredibly. It extends our sensor. We're able to see further. We can get identification of contacts. It gives us mobility, and as well, it provides assistance if required to conduct search and rescue. It provides us a huge amount of capability that many units do not have.
We have 274.1 hours left on the airplane to fly.
The CO has surrounded himself with the best of the best,
the FLS is going to get to Limassol as well as
including Lieutenant Commander Mike Davey, his executive officer,
so that's set.
And his coxswain,
A lot of team training today, well as the last couple of days.
Chief Petty Officer First Class Mike Gorley.
Team morale overall is very high. Bring her on.
One box carrots.
We need to have people that work well as a team, and we have all this in Charlottetown.
Ready?
When Truth Duty Valour returns, Charlottetown's Naval Boarding Party,
Okay, hazardous duty!
a security response team on call 24 hours a day, never knows exactly what to expect. The sun isn't the only early riser this morning.
Wiggy, 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 wiggy. 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5.
The boarding party is up and doing what they do every morning at the crack of dawn, building muscles, flexibility, and stamina. These are required drills to physically prepare the team to board vessels at sea in sometimes less than ideal conditions.
It's 65, 70 pounds worth of equipment that, you know, we're climbing up and down these ships with, right?
All right, so grab all the weapons and all the radios. Everything else will stay here.
Relieved of their principal duties, the 20-member boarding party is on call 24/7, prepared for anything.
You got his radio on his attack list?
We don't know what it is yet, but we're ready for the highest level what we need to be ready for just in case.
Here, right?
Open up and report back to mother. Okay, you're not authorized to proceed on board unless cleared by me. Okay, information that I want to know right away is name of the vessel, name of the master, flag. Okay? Good. Approach team, form up, load the diver.
Your 6 hours, slow.
We use our boarding party for multiple facets of the operation.
C8 and MP5, be ready, load.
First thing is they represent Canada and they represent Charlottetown. They represent the Canadian forces, and they're there to do their job that I assign them to do when they leave the ship.
In this case, the captain is sending his boarding party to conduct a friendly approach operation.
The mandate of approach ops is not to go on board and do a search. It's only to provide a goodwill or gather information from fishermen.
There's nothing sneaky about what we're doing out here. We're in an overt posture, you know, we're talking on the radio, we've got radars up, we're, you know, flying aircraft out here. It's a deterrence operation. And, you know, during the deterrence operation, as you know, we've been fairly lucky to come across some dhows that are conducting some illicit activity.
An indispensable civilian translator accompanies the boarding party.
You ready for this? Ready? Come on.
You're going over with a good team, you know you're going to come back with a good team.
Since Charlottetown has been in the Middle East, its boarding party has conducted 60 friendly approach ops. And that number will be well over 100 by the time the frigate's deployment comes to an end.
We go talk with the master and say, hey, we're a coalition warship. We're here to help you if you need anything. We tell them to call us on VHF Channel 16 if they need anything. This is one of the things that we do. We have all the information?
Yes, sir. Okay, the approach up to the complete next up. Everything good? Everything's on time. Carrying soybeans from India to Iraq. Iraq. Okay. Good. Okay, there's nothing else. We'll get you back on board. Roger. Okay.
Our team is extremely professional, and this is one of the very good capability that a Canadian warship brings to the table.
The last step of the operation. The intelligence gatherers debrief their commander.
Last port of call was Gujarat, India. They're en route to Iraq. What was the name of the city? Corporal. We asked the standard pre-planned questions and haven't seen anything.
Okay.
Very happy to see us again.
Good. What about what kind of sign-ups materials did we pass?
Questionnaire, or the sheets.
The sheets.
And a few water bottles.
Water bottles. Perfect. Good stuff. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Boardings at sea. It's a practice as old as navies themselves.
What about the ladder? Is the ladder all rolled up?
Oh yeah, ladder's good to go.
Typically, the team is organized into 2 waves, Alpha and Bravo, each composed of men selected on the basis of their common sense, trade expertise, motivation, initiative, stamina, and their knowledge of weapons handling and safety.
Okay, we're going to do a quick demonstration first. Jordan, grab weapons.
At sea, naval boarding parties train and practice constantly to develop their skills and improve their efficiency.
Questions? Feel free to ask.
Their arsenal includes the distinguished Sig Sauer Pistol
Sig Sauer, load!
and the MP5 Submachine Gun.
Hammers up! Sig Sauer, putting it back in your holster. Decock.
Warrant Officer Jerry Arsenault is an experienced member of naval boarding parties.
When you bring the MP5 down to your side, it goes on safety. I don't care if you do it here or as you're bringing it down. Safety.
As Alpha 2, he works closely with the younger men, supervising, training, and preparing them for the unexpected.
On a boarding party, we run through a general course. It's usually typically about 5 weeks long, when we go into tactical searches, tactical firearms training. We also do some rappelling for sea containers and that, and generally working as a team.
This is not a race. There is no trophy at the end of this. Take your time, concern yourself with the proper drill. The whole idea of this drill is to provide cover fire for your team member because they have either a stoppage or they've run out of ammunition. That's what this whole drill is about. Questions? Carry on, guys. Let's have a good shoot. You got your magazine? With your 6 Sauer, single lock. Your MP5s, be ready. Your MP5s, go. Eyes in ears. Ops red, ops red.
Hammers up! Hammers up!
Hammers up.
Being on Charlottetown's great. I love it. I love my job. I love my secondary duties. Being on boarding party, it's a good life.
Being a part of the Naval Boarding Party is an excitement. It's an experience all in itself, and it puts a little bit more fun, let's say, into these sailing trips, these long trips.
Every day, something new will happen, so it's definitely not monotonous.
When truth, duty, valor continues.
They now have the body in the body bag in the Zodiac.
From recovering a body, to saving lives, to confiscating contraband, HMCS Charlottetown is making herself known in the Middle East.
House watch, Captain. House watch. Hard left, 000. Aye, sir. Good report. Port 30. Port 30.
Charlottetown's presence in the region has proven to be a lifesaver.
Since we've been here, we helped stranded fishermen. They had no gas. Their motor was broke down. They had no food. They had no water. They were out for a day, and they were using a tarp as a makeshift sail. And this is something what we see over here on a daily basis. And you know, it's sad to see this. You know, they're in an open ocean, and they're in vessels that aren't fit for sea.
In this deployment already, we've rescued 2 sailors that had their dhow sink in a storm, and were trapped on a barge for several days without food and water, and we rescued them and brought them back to the proper channels and got them home.
That's a good job, boys.
I mean, it's not just us that's helping out as the boarding team. It takes all 250 people on the ship to make anything like that happen. So it's definitely a team effort.
The preservation of life right there is warrants are being here just by saving those 2 people.
Yesterday, our helicopter spotted a person in the water, and because of the boarding we were conducting, we were unable to recover. Today, we came back to the area, and we just found the body in the water. We sent 2 of our boats to do the recovery, and what we did is we put our senior people in the boats so that they're very prepared to see that kind of thing. Half ahead port.
Half ahead port. Half ahead port.
And we're going to go and recover it so we can further transfer to another Pakistani ship.
One of the senior men helping to recover the body is Petty Officer Roger Prue.
We believe it was one of the gentlemen, unfortunately, that was on the dhow that broke away and tipped over because it was too heavy. We believe it was one of them guys. It was in the general area of when it happened. There was those 5 souls on board, and unfortunately, we only seen the 1.
Second Officer Watch, Port Lookout. They now have the body in the body bag in the Zodiac.
The recovered body, believed to be a victim of the recent barge accident, will remain in the Zodiac until it's transferred to a Pakistani maritime security vessel later tonight.
It makes you, I wouldn't say it makes you feel good, but it makes me feel warm that those families ashore will know that there could be closure to that soul. That's what it's about, right?
This solemn incident is an example of the compassion of the Canadian Navy.
We need everybody we have that's here. Everybody has an important role to play in the ship, and it's what you do with that and how you approach that is what makes the ship great.
Earlier in the tour, Charlottetown was dispatched by CTF 150, the coordinator of the area, to investigate a suspicious vessel.
In order to be able to send a boarding team, we need some belief that the activities conducted by the vessel has linked to terrorism.
When the Sea King approached the vessel of interest, the crew on board abandoned the dhow and attempted to flee in skiffs. But the helo intercepted them, and the men surrendered, knowing their fate was sealed.
What you're doing here is for the better. It's for the good. We're, as they say, the cop on the beat.
The The Arabian Sea was extraordinarily rough that day, with waves several meters high. Consequently, it took numerous carefully executed approaches before the men were able to embark safely and ultimately take control of the deserted dhow. Then, the long and arduous search for hidden contraband began.
I remember a time me and my colleague, we were actually hanging off these burlap sacks and we were cutting the boxes, and we're down in the hole, and every time the dhow would hit a wave, water would come in between the planks. So it was if the pump wasn't going, we probably would have filled up pretty quick. It was definitely a different experience.
We had discovered that the cargo on board was alcohol, and the alcohol was linked to terrorism.
Doggedness paid off, big time. The boarding party seized and destroyed between 8,000 and 10,000 bottles of Scotch whiskey. Contraband estimated at $1 million.
We're over here, we're help policing these waters against terrorism, against pirates, against human smuggling, human trafficking, smuggling of arms, narcotics. So, you know, I think that what we're doing here is a good thing.
So what did we do? What did we accomplish as a team?
We definitely cut off some money heading into the organizations that are supporting the terrorism. You know, giving our boys in Afghanistan a little bit of a break.
Ask him what his name is.
When Truth Duty Valour returns, searching for millions of dollars worth of illicit drugs linked to terrorism.
Hi, sweetheart. I can't really tell you what went on today. You know the drill.
HMCS Charlottetown is patrolling the international waters off the coast of Pakistan, covertly tracking a vessel known as a COI, Contact of Interest.
Good morning, everyone.
We are about to come to boarding stations for a possible Group B COI. It's a vessel suspected of narcotics trafficking in support of terrorism. It's suspected to be a small cargo dhow proceeding southbound. Flag unknown, number of personnel on board unknown. ROE consideration, as always, is self-defense, and other tactical considerations, sir, will be bringing the ship to boarding stations and flying stations upon completion of this brief.
The time, 0441 Zulu, or Greenwich Mean Time, 0841 on board Charlottetown.
Sometimes we get a pre-warning, other times it's, you know, we have no warning at all.
One of the very first things we do when we are going to commence a boarding is we go to communications lockdown, ensuring that the operation we're about to conduct is not passed over the airwaves.
All I can tell you is watch TV and listen to the radio.
Master Corporal Chris Wheaton is an aviation technician who's been in the forces long enough to know the drill.
It's very sensitive information, and whatever ops are going on at the time, they don't want a possible leak until it's all said and done.
What we'll do is we'll get the helo off the deck and to keep a visual on the vessel. We are 20 miles south of Pakistan territorial waters, so that's the position we'll be in.
You gonna take the radio?
Yeah. No, you got it, don't you?
I don't really fear for my safety or protection at all. I trust all the guys around me, and I trust my own training.
Let's get going, boys.
And you got to look up to your leadership for obviously direction, and everybody knows their job on board and what they're supposed to do.
Who does not have their ammo? Then get over there.
Divers are an integral part of the boarding party team, as prepared as the next man should the captain order an underwater search of the vessel.
As I said, I'm not sure what kind of boarding it is yet. Ready to go? Up taut, starboard side.
It's got to be ship, service, self. It can't be self, ship, service. It's got to be the whole team.
Both waves, Alpha and Bravo, including a witnessing officer and an intelligence officer, gather on the starboard side and wait for their briefing with the commander.
Morning, sir. Morning party ready for your briefing.
Roger, put him in east, please.
Standard! East! Good morning, sir!
Morning, sir. Okay, good morning, team. How are you this morning? Good, sir. Good, sir. Good. Okay, the situation right now is we've been covertly tracking a possible COI conducting illicit activity carrying narcotics. Our mission is going to be broken into two phases. The first phase of the mission is we're going to do an approach ops. Okay, we're going to go down and gather as much information as we can. We want to know the name of the vessel. We want to know the flag of the vessel. We want to know what they're doing. And we need to report all that information back to Mother. Okay, that's phase one. Phase two is we need to be prepared to conduct boarding under the law of armed conflict. Okay? And this is only upon direction from my order. For the approach, okay, self-defense, and if you feel threatened during the approach, you are to open up and take cover as required. Okay, if we order to do the boarding, it's going to be a law of armed conflict, ROE. We're going to close, get ELO support, and we'll get you up there. Okay? Any questions?
No, sir.
Everything clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, carry on, please.
Okay, listen up. Could possibly be a long day. If the RHIB comes back, let's put some energy drinks, etc. in it to get it to the guys that are on the dhow. Load the diver.
The boarding party prepares their meticulously cleaned weapons in the event they'll need to use them.
With your C8s, MP5s, and shotguns, load! Okay, hazardous duty, let's go!
The first of the two waves of the boarding party to disembark the frigate move to the port side of the ship and don their last piece of essential gear, their life preservers. Once the RHIB, a Canadian-made rigid-hull inflatable boat, is lowered, the first wave of the boarding party will disembark. On the bridge, Captain Denis, his officers and watchkeepers maintain vigilance on the horizon as the warship approaches the vessel of interest.
Can you call him on channel 16, just say hi and ask him what his name is, his flag, that kind of thing?
He's about he's just 4 miles away, okay?
अस्सलामुअलैकुम भाई साहब, हम लोग कोलेशन वारशिप से बोल रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं? जनाब, हम लोग कोलेशन वारशिप से बोल रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं?
Get a bit closer, then we'll try again, okay? Good. Like a mile, we'll try again on VHF 16.
हम लोग कोलेशन वारशिप से बोल रहे हैं, आप सुन रहे हैं? आपके बाजू में खड़े हैं हम लोग.
There's still no radio contact with the vessel, and the apprehension on the bridge is mounting. As the frigate closes in on the dhow, the captain wants to know precisely what the helicopter crew can see.
Does it look that there's any fishing gear?
Okay. What's the reaction when the helicopter come over? Anything we do?
No problem.
Okay.
You must wait for details. When the Sea King reaches its surveillance position over the dhow, aerial observations are communicated immediately to the captain.
Can we see from the ELO any cargo on deck? Our own car, sir. And how many holes, and if the holes are open or closed. Fuel barrels, etc. Alpha 3, we're seeing some fishing nets in the hole. 8 souls on board. Alpha 1. This fishing gear in the forward hole, okay? Possible containers with liquid on the upper decks.
That's consistent with what we see on previous vessels as well.
Let's try one more time.
We're just trying to raise communication to the dhow on our port bow to communicate with us.
After several unsuccessful attempts at communication, the commander takes action. While the RHIB is being lowered, Alpha 2 primes his men.
Communication is vital. Vigilance, observation, keep the chatter down. Anything you see goes through me and I'll pass it on to Alpha 1.
The buddy system. Check one another's gear to ensure nothing's been forgotten. Everything is in place and secure. It's time to disembark. Using the articulating ladder, the men skillfully descend 25 feet and into the rib. Not knowing when they'll eventually return, Alpha 2 places his dinner order.
Tony, save me some chicken, buddy.
When Truth Duty Valour returns, challenges await Charlottetown's Naval Boarding Party as the men approach the vessel of interest. HMCS Charlottetown is pursuing intelligence information indicating a wooden fishing dhow off the coast of Pakistan contains terrorist-related cargo. Armed to the teeth, the Naval Boarding Party makes its approach on the dhow, ready for anything.
The boarding party is just developing a rapport with the crew on board. We've got a lot of basic questions they have to ask them so that we can build a bit of a picture. We have a very good database of most of the dhows in the area, but it's going to take a while to process that information to see if this correlates with the vessel that we've been looking for. But I can honestly tell you that we have enough information that tells us that these guys aren't necessarily legitimate fishermen. They all look to be relatively young and fit and have good clothes on them. So that in itself is a little suspicious. So we just have to wait for the boarding party to give us some more information before we go on to the next step.
Go.
Right now the boarding party is boarding the dhow, and it's always a tricky evolution. Luckily for us today, the weather's pretty good. It's only a few foot swells, but as you can see from looking at the dhow, it's still moving around quite a bit. Once they get on board, they make sure that the crew is all in one place, and once it's safe, then they'll report off screen to the ship.
We're going to split up into two search teams, all right? Smitty's going to be in control. He's already been down below. He knows what he wants the first team to search down, just below us. The second team's going to go to the ice compartment, and they're going to give a thorough search of that. We will have total control of security up here, so don't worry about security, all right? If you find anything suspicious, go through Smitty, he'll get to me, and we'll take it on to Alpha 1 and further up the chain. Questions?
You get a sample of the bilge.
Bilge water sample.
You're good.
They'll be looking through all the food packages they have on board. They'll be looking in water containers or fuel containers to make sure that that's exactly what's in those containers.
I have no idea what that is.
You see the GPS unit in there? Go back to where the ice is the thinnest, and they haven't frozen together yet, so we're lucky. Move them up, see if you can dig right down to the insulation below. Once you got to the insulation, let me know when I'm going to come down and inspect them. Okay?
They'll be looking for false bulkheads. They'll be measuring the interior of the vessel and the compartments to make sure that it matches the measurements they made on the exterior portions of the vessel. We have to be patient and do a thorough search, especially if we have actionable intelligence that they're up to no good.
While the search team investigates below, above deck, a security team frisks the crew of the dhow, looking for anything suspicious or threatening on their body. Their names, according to their passports, are documented. And their photographs are recorded digitally. The images will be sent back to the frigate, filed and correlated with a master database.
Roger, all of the personnel have been processed. We have pictures of themselves with their name on the whiteboard and pictures of their ID.
Got to go the mother?
There's no track lines. There's no plots. They don't look like they've been using their GPS.
Okay.
The process is slow, but the information is vital to the investigation.
I found shampoo, soap, antibiotics, ibuprofen, all the stuff that we don't normally see on these vessels. Suspicious ship, I'd say.
Heat exhaustion require the RHIB ASAP.
When Truth Duty Valour returns,
Roger that, but let's get this personnel back to mother position.
It's heating up on board the vessel of interest as the search for contraband continues. The Canadian frigate HMCS Charlottetown is in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Pakistan. The time, 11:15 Zulu, 1515 local.
Go ahead. This is Father. Could you check during your search if there's any welding gear on board? Over.
6.5 hours ago, Commander Saint-Denis dispatched members of his ship's boarding party to investigate a suspicious fishing dhow and its unlikely-looking crew.
This is Father Roger.
From the bridge, where he monitors the close-up camera focused on the dhow, the commander feeds questions to his intelligence officers on the vessel.
This is Father Roger. Does he go anywhere else other than Pakistan? Over.
The master answered with a little bit of ambiguity. He didn't give any reference to either Pakistan or the Iranian coast.
Long days. It takes quite a while just to search them, even though they look pretty small.
Trying to use different way of asking questions so we can find out if he goes anywhere else other than Pakistan. Over.
Stand by, sir. Up to 2 minutes.
Ask the engineer which tanks they put the fuel in from last night.
Father, this is Alpha 1. Go ahead.
This is Father. If you could ask the master what is his fishing ground off and...
Their fishing grounds from Gundar Bay to approximately 60 nautical miles off the coast.
Can you ask him if he goes further south? Over.
How far off the coast does he know?
Does he know? The master indicates that the previous time he's been out fishing in this area was approximately 6 to 10 days prior to today, and he's been doing this same process for the last 4 to 5 years.
This is Father Roger. Up 1, Father Roger. Anything underneath of the insulation over?
I guess there's still ice and we're still working to get down to the bottom of it.
We are just getting to the bottom of the ice now, and I should have word back to you within 5 minutes. Over.
How's everybody feeling? How are they doing? Do they want a drink of water?
The temperature is a balmy 28 degrees Celsius, but for the men of the boarding party, with their layers of protective clothing, it feels more like a searing 48 degrees.
Exhaustion. Require the RHIB ASAP.
Roger that, but let's get this personnel back to mother first.
We're going to have to get him up on the billy too. Okay?
We'll help him here, you help him down. Ready, Buck? Okay. He's really dehydrated, really dehydrated. Okay, just running right now. Yeah, anytime you get a breakaway, feel free to go.
A personal transfer device called a billy puke is lowered to the rib.
Man that line there, guys.
It's a near effortless way to move this victim of heat exhaustion back to the ship safely. A fresh crew, including divers to check underneath the hull, prepares to relieve their colleagues.
Hey boys, you got all the gear you need, right?
Yeah.
200 ladder at a time.
Everyone is tenacious in the search for hidden cargo.
Yeah, tell them search continue, 50% complete.
Let's get her done, boys.
Fresh caulking is detected in a section of the aft deck boards.
Get some big chunks, buddy.
It's an indication of recent handiwork and possibly false bulkheads below. Through these high-powered binoculars on the bridge wing, the commander scrutinizes the new activity on the dhow.
I need to get my head down there. Peel up this board here.
Their persistence eventually pays off.
Alpha 1. Got it. Roger, we have found some packages here. Looks like we have a significant amount of contraband.
This is Father Roger. Take pictures and report to Mother. Over.
Roger.
It's under 100. This way. There's more than 20 and less than 1,000.
So, Captain, Brett.
Yeah, they're sending back a sample in the RHIB that we can take a look at and take the pictures of over here.
Yeah, XO, Captain.
Alpha 1, go ahead.
Stand up.
So. Yeah, nothing to come to Charlottetown. Keep everything over there. Over.
Do you want pictures to come over here?
Yeah, affirmative pictures, but no narcotic to come to Charlottetown. Over.
Let's get one.
Yeah, so you can measure that space.
Yeah.
Roger. Picture a 1 cubic meter fuel tank square. The face has a tank section, and then everything in behind that, approximately something like 80, 90 centimeters, actually more than that, is the sheeting.
There's a variety of places where it's been found. There's been some false bulkheads that they've taken apart and found some in there. And as well, there's some false compartments in the vicinity of the fuel tanks that they've discovered. I would imagine it'll be a while before we find out exactly what we've got here, but so far it's looking like we've found what we were looking for.
The recovery of the narcotics, believed to be hashish, has only just begun, and it'll be hours before the job is complete.
Putting an end to terrorism, a couple bales of hash at a time.
This is Father Roger. How's the crew taking this? Over. They are completely compliant and cooperative.
While the work below deck continues, the commander coordinates the next phase of the operation.
It's what, 6 o'clock in Ottawa?
5 Alpha 1.
Sir, it's 5 after 6.
Together with his XO and coxswain, the commander is briefed by the boarding party intelligence officer.
Inside each bale, there is 20 packages. We guesstimate there are 1 kilo each.
Okay, this 1 kilogram times...
This is critical information,
minimum 1,500 pounds,
which the captain will soon pass on to senior Canadian, American, and Pakistani officials as they determine the next course of action.
They observe something being thrown overboard. They have to investigate this. Roger. Lots of action here.
When Truth, Duty, Valor returns.
It's us going over in a little blow-up boat. We all got to go over, and we got to come back safely. And no matter how we do it as a team.
Pride of accomplishment pervades the frigate Charlottetown. Charlottetown's boarding party worked long into the night on the dhow, recovering 4.3 tons of hashish with an estimated value of $65 million.
The Naval Boarding Party are doing excellent. They're very proud of what they've done today, and they feel this is a big accomplishment for the Navy and the Canadian government and for all of Canada.
The Maritime Security Agency came and took them away to Pakistan, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I would imagine they'd be prosecuted when they get home.
We have been able to make a difference in theater, to be able to deter terrorism and hopefully keep them away from our coast.
I know for me, when I came back and I came on board the ship, it was like stepping back home. It was like stepping back in Canada. And I felt really safe because I don't know about you guys, but when we first go on these dhows, my guts are turning, my eyes are going back and forth until we get control and we get total security of the dhow and basically take it over, until we're in charge of it. Up until that point, I worry about and I'm concerned about all you guys, because some of you guys are the same age as my own son, and I want to take his all over and I want to take his all back. And that's what it boils down to. I mean, we can go on about profit of terrorism, but when it comes right down to it, it's us going over in a little blow-up boat. We all got to go over and we got to come back safely. And no matter how we do it as a team.
I'll take that hug now.
Get the mission done. That's pretty well my motto right now. Contribute to the mission, take care of our people, and if you take care of them, the mission will be accomplished.
Because it's not just us.
No.
We got 250 plus other people that support us, that get us over there, get us back. If we hurt ourselves, they're there to make us better. They feed us.
They're the ones that puts down their articulating ladder, they put down the RHIB. They're the ones that make sure our supplies gets brought over. You know, they work just as hard as we do, right?
Everybody on this ship, all crew members, all 250 plus, there's a jump in their step. You can see it. I mean, although this is our third patrol, and we've got one more to go after this, everybody is pumped now.